Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 100 of Shea Station. Throw the confetti in the air. One of them got me in the nose, Jay.
Take that.
My bad.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our show. It's Monday, September 19th. The Mets have just swept 4 games from the Pittsburgh Pirates at home. I'm one of your co-hosts for the past 100, Jack, a.k.a. Jolly Olive. Joining me on the other side is my other co-host for the past 100, Jerry Belevins. Jerry, how are you doing, my friend? Are you feeling 100 today?
I am. I'm keeping it 100 on 100. This is exciting stuff. Congratulations to you, Jack. Audio Jack, what number is this for you? 100?
It's probably like 95 for you?
I think it's like 95 or something.
We'll take it.
This is probably 99 for me because I think I missed one with COVID.
You did. Oh, you know what? Jake took your spot for the Max Scherzer episode. That was a bummer.
That was okay. I was not feeling great with COVID at all, so I wouldn't have done it justice. And Jake's the man. So
Jake is the man.
But this is our show. This is us, Shea Station 100. Woo-hoo. We get to celebrate us, and we get to celebrate a 4-game sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is happy all around for us here at Shea Station.
It's a very good thing they did not lose a series to the Pirates for episode 100. That would have stunk. Really,
leave it
really
all
bad.
Right there, by the way. It looks fantastic all over your computer.
Exactly.
That looks better.
It looks I said this before, it looks like a clown vomited in my general area, but that's kind of the aesthetic
we're going for.
It looks very
avant-garde from a contemporary
this is
artist
actually
today.
Art. This took me hours, Jerry, okay? You don't even understand.
Good.
We got a loaded episode for you guys today. The Mets struck out a whole lot of people in the last game. They won 4 games total. Cookie looked good. Offense looked good. Vogelbach is back. And we're still a game ahead. Thank you, Jack, for dressing me. I now cannot see my outline, which is perfect, just the way I wanted it. I have like a little box on my computer that I can see. It's perfect. And we are going to tell you all about it as soon as I read the ad through today's confetti, which is Bear Burger, our friends at Bear Burger who serve the freshest meats, the freshest burgers in town, something for everyone. Yes, even you. My good friend and colleague Justin Pennick of Talkin' Giants was raving about Bear Burger at yesterday's Giants game. They have them as a sponsor as well, and they can't speak well enough. And it's obvious why, guys. They're a burger joint, but they're not bogged down by labels. Their menu is filled with options for everyone, regardless of your preferences. You can create your own favorite burger because Bear Burger takes burgers very seriously. And that's a lot of burgers in one sentence. Build your own creation and let us know Jomboy sent you, and then tweet it to @BearBurger for a chance to win a Bear Burger gift card. You're going to want that gift card because you can get a lot with a little at Bear Burger. $1 PBRs, $5 mules, $5 martinis, half off bottles of wine during their kitchen and bar happy hour, which is hands down the best in NYC, available 7 full hours every Monday through Friday from noon to 7 p.m. So click the link in our description to find yourself the best happy hour, tastiest burger joint, and overall great spot at order.bearburger.com. Thank you to them for sticking with us for number 100, baby.
Thank you, Bear Burger. You shouted out Justin Pennick, your amigo. If you guys are Giants fans out there listening, Pennick knows the Giants. They're very well informed. I don't know his partner.
Bobby Skinner.
I don't know him. I haven't met him yet on Talking Giants, but I know Pennick, and he is tapped in.
Yes.
He knows what's going on. It's pretty incredible. So if you're a Giants fan, listen to Talking Giants.
Absolutely cannot speak enough about how good that podcast
and thank you, Bear
is.
Burger.
And thank you, Bear Burger. This was like kind of a Talking Giants ad, but also a Bear Burger ad, which is perfect. Jerry, are we ready?
We're ready. Let's do this. Let's get in.
Game 1. Do it, man. All right, Game 1. The Mets just got swept at home by the Chicago Cubs. What? And now they let in another NL Central foe, but they got vengeance on their mind. Nimmo and Lindor start the game with strikeouts, but the Mets put together a 2-out rally in the first. McNeil and Alonso get back-to-back singles, and then 3-2 count, 2 outs. Dan Vogelbach, who's been ice cold, rips a double for 2 early runs. We are going to speak volumes about Mr. Vogelbach in this series. Michael Chavis would add an RBI double in the second to make it a 1-run game, but Carlos Carrasco looked dialed in. 6 strikeouts through 2 innings, 8 through 3 innings in this game. He had the Pirates' number. After Nimmo walks in the third, Lindor crushes a 2-run homer to open a 4-1 lead. That is 94 RBI for Lindor on the season. That's a new career high. He sets the Mets record for home runs and RBI by a shortstop in a single season. Bravissimo to Francisco Lindor. In the same inning later on with no outs, McNeil doubles, Alonso singles. He's getting his singles again. We like to see that. And Vogelbach singles home another RBI. Big game for him. Guillorme walks to load the bases. Still nobody out, but the Mets would squander that opportunity. They sit at 5-1. They get a pair of walks in the fourth inning. The Pirates walked a lot of batters this series. We're going to talk about that too. And Mark Vientos gets the pinch hit opportunity. Buck makes kind of an interesting call. He takes Vogelbach out after 2 good at-bats. He puts in the kid Vientos, and it pays off. He gets his first hit, an RBI single, so his first RBI as well. All this continued to show with Carlos Carrasco having a great outing for the second time in a row. 6 innings, 1 earned, and 11 strikeouts. That's a season high. 104 pitches. His ERA is down to 3.7, and the bullpen would just cruise in this one. Seth Lugo took the 7th, bounces back with the couple home runs he gave up by striking out the side. The Mets would reload the bases in the 8th and get a run off a weird hit by pitch. That's 7-1 at this point. And Joely Rodriguez, who had a pretty big series as well, mops up the 8th and 9th in this game cleanly for a solid Mets win to end their skid. They go 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position. That's way better than the entire Cubs series. Brandon Nimmo walks 3 times in this one game. He scores twice, and the Mets win 7-1 and breathe a sigh of relief.
Nicely done. Big win. And they did it like right off the bat. They jumped on them in the first, something that they've been struggling to do. Even though they've been getting runners on in the first, they haven't been putting them in, and they did game 1. That was very important. And it was nice to see Vogie.
Yeah.
Who was ice cold, get revenge on his old team in a big way. That was nice.
Yeah, I think they had more hits with runners in scoring position after the 3rd inning in this game than they did in the entire 3 games against the Cubs. And when you don't hit with runners in scoring position, you're not going to win. That's just kind of a facet of it all. But the Mets offense looked good here. Cookie looked awesome, absolutely dotting that fastball. And it looks like he is emerging to get that Game 4 slot that we continuously talk about on this show. And we'll talk about David Peterson, too, because he had a nice little bright spot in the series as well.
Yeah, well, the other guy going for the number 4 spot is Taiwan Walker, and that takes us to Game 2. Drop that beat. Here we go. Game number 2, it's a Black Friday. Dressed out in their blacks, Taiwan Walker versus Mitch Keller, a pitcher's duel. After they both swap zeros, it takes us to the bottom of the 3rd. Batting 8th is the aforementioned Eduardo Escobar. He gets a 1-out walk, and Tomas Nido hits a soft line drive single to right field. Escobar scores all the way from first. Somehow, not sure how, but that's what you do. You take advantage of a team that just doesn't do the little things right. That gets the Mets on the board 1-0 in the 3rd. Bottom of the 4th, 2 outs. Daniel Vogelbach, the aforementioned Vogelbach, getting revenge on his old team. He takes Keller deep for his 17th home run to stretch the lead to 2-0 in the 4th. Top of the 5th, Taiwan Walker is cruising. Eduardo Escobar gets a throwing error a little bit up the line. Then there's a single, then an infield single that scores first and second, nobody out. Line out, and then O'Neal Cruz smashes one to right. But that's where our Gold Glover utility man, Jeff McNeil, is roaming on the night. Right field all of a sudden. Who knew he played out there? He robs him of extra base hits, a multiple RBI. Probably not a homer, but close enough. Might as well have been a home run. Great play to end the threat in the 5th because Taiwan Walker was cruising until then, and he had a good outing after that. So it's 2-1 in the 5th. That brings us to the bottom of the 6th. Brandon Nimmo singles his only a 2nd stolen base of the season to get him to 2nd. Lindor single, that's 1st and 3rd. McNeil strikes out as Lindor steals 2nd. That makes it 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And Alonso gets a nice little sac fly to make it 3-1. The Mets do load the bases after that, but squander that. It's 3-1. Take us to the bottom of the 7th. Eduardo Escobar, making up for his error earlier, smacks a double. Tomas Nido bounces one on the giant man O'Neal Cruz to get an error. And then Nimmo bloops one into no man's land behind Cruz that can't corral it. That is 4-1. Top of the 8th. The man Taiwan Walker, who was cruising through that, decides to try to stretch it and one up Cookie Carrasco, gets into the seventh, gets an out, but O'Neal Cruz hits a cruise missile to bring this within one game. It's a one-run game. It's 4-3 Mets, but Edwin Diaz says, sound the trumpets because I will come in. It's a bit of a nail biter, but he gets the final 5 outs, and the Mets win game 2, 4-3.
Very nice recap, as always, Mr. Blevins. This was a fun one. I was in person for this one. I took a couple buddies who have kind of become Mets fans through proxy because they're having a good season. They know what I do now. And this was a really fun game for them. My friend Chris, who I think listens to the show pretty often, got to hear his first trumpets. He's been to 5 games this season. He had yet to hear the trumpets, so I was very happy for him. O'Neal Cruz is the real deal, man. That dude is scary.
On one side of the ball.
On one side of the ball. This is true.
He's got some growing pains, both literal
Still
and physical, for a giant.
Still a rook.
Yeah, we'll talk about him at the end, but he can hit, man.
He's special.
He's special. I like watching him play baseball.
Yeah. You know who else is special, though? Taiwan Walker. He had a great outing in this one. I would have been perfectly fine with him just capping off at 7. Did have the low pitch count. I do think I didn't love him seeing O'Neal Cruz. But, you know, you live and learn by these things, and the Mets hold on to a close win. Offense looked good again. A lot of stolen bases this series for our Mets. We're going to talk about that a lot in Game 4 as well. Vogie goes oppo for that home run. That was really nice to see. All good things. And Edwin Diaz finally gets to pitch in a high-leverage situation, which we haven't seen in like 2 weeks.
Well-rested Edwin Diaz.
Yes,
and Taiwan, I loved him going out for the 8th. I think he earned it. He deserved it. You got a good lead. A little bit of breathing room against a lesser team. He challenged O'Neal Cruz, and O'Neal Cruz said, don't do that again. So
yes, sir.
I promise you he'll remember that because he crushed that ball in a big spot.
Also,
but I love Taiwan looked really, really good. So did Cookie, but I liked him going out for the 8th, trying to get that extra run. And then, you know, you bring in Edwin Diaz. That's going to feel good.
The only bad part about my viewing experience, which was on Friday, I think, was that we were in the second deck in right field, so we didn't get to see McNeil's catch. It was right under us.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough spot there because it cuts back too, and you're hanging over. Yeah, that's a tough spot.
There was this,
but it was a good catch.
It was a really good catch.
The guy can play, man.
Put him anywhere.
Field. I didn't expect him to have that kind of understanding of the space because he even in the ninth inning there. Was it the ninth? Yeah, to end the game.
Yeah, it was a close ball.
And he was inching on the track. You know, kind of that was the key to me. He knew he wasn't completely aware of his surroundings because he was a little tentative, but he was on the warning track. He felt it under his feet, and he had an understanding. That makes it, if you go to on the road in the playoffs and you're not completely familiar with the surroundings in a new ballpark, that he knows what to do. It doesn't panic. He knows his surroundings. He's listening to his environment. Feels the warning track under his feet. Dude, Gold Glove, whether it's at just second base, because I think he's played enough there, whether it's that utility spot, the dude deserves a Gold Glove. It's incredible.
Absolutely
I'm so impressed.
Yeah, and I also thought this right field thing might have been just, you know, for like a game or two to get Guillorme assimilated again. But
and Marte, since Marte's out, he's filled in.
Exactly. And he just has such a feel for it. I really like what you said about, because that must be tough. We've seen McNeil sprint deep into right field at second base for fly balls all season long, and to have the presence of mind to like know the wall. I mean, Diaz himself said he thought that ball was going out in his postgame, and he was just thankful it didn't.
You see that big old smile?
Oh yeah, that was a sigh of relief right there. I also
he threw it out of his hand. He was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. So close call in Game 2, but the Mets get a big win, so they're up 2-0 going into Game 3 with the Basset Hound, the innings eater, back on the mound. He dominated the Pirates last time, so we were looking for the same result here. In the second inning, Alonso doubles. He was a bit of a table setter this series, which was kind of nice to see. Vogelbach draws a walk, and Eduardo Escobar crushes a 3-run homer to put the Mets up early. In his post-game interview, Escobar said he was swinging first pitch no matter what. Kind of an interesting approach. It works out here. And I wanted to make a note of this too. He notably gets a start against a righty with Guillorme healthy, which is something we did not see a lot earlier in the season. So Escobar's start pays off, and Chris Bassett returns to form after a kind of a hitch against the Cubs. He gets a shutout start here, 6 shutout innings, 2 walks, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts. That ERA goes down to 3.32. He escaped a jam in his last inning with runners on second and third. He strikes out Key Bryant Hayes. He has now tossed 6 innings or more in 22 of 28 starts this year. That is very, very good. Bryce Wilson and Stout, I'm forgetting his first name, I think it was Tyler Stout, they walk a bunch of batters in the 6th inning. Naquin gets a single, and then they walk the load, giving the Mets a 4-0 lead. They get another bases-loaded walk from Alonso in the 8th. The Pirates pitching staff looked pretty rough in this one, so they were kind of handing it to us. Rodolfo Castro, though, the eternal Met killer, the newest one on the block, gets yet another home run against the Mets. It's a solo shot in the later innings. It was off David Peterson, who looked really good, looked very comfortable in relief here. He had 2 shutout innings going into that 9th. Ottavino relieves him to end a solid 5-1 victory. Kind of a weird night at the plate. The Mets go 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, but they draw 8 walks and 4 hit by pitches. A lot of discussion there. The Mets breach 100 for the year. They're well on their way to setting the modern record for hit by pitches. This one was kind of a weird game, but you take those wins when you can get them. And I wouldn't call it an ugly win, but it's definitely an uncharacteristic 5-1 win for the Mets.
Yeah, man. Weird game. Again, this is what a good team should do against a lesser team. They don't always have to dominate, but when you have opportunities, and how many walks?
8 walks and 4 hit by pitches.
They have incredible stuff, but man, they need to throw some strikes.
I know, man. I mean, we'll talk about the benches clearing, which was
that's next, but
kind of silly in my opinion. But it was just, this staff doesn't have a lot of command issues, and even when the Mets weren't getting timely hits, it just didn't matter because they always had runners on base. It was an ugly one for sure.
Yep, and Bassett looked really good. He returned to form, looked fine. Did what he does. Went 6, gave up no runs, 8 punchies.
Yeah, all by the book.
Gotcha. You ready for game 4?
I'm ready.
Game 4. Going for the sweep, the 4-game sweep. Is that a mop-up or is that a sweep? I don't know what it is, but the Mets are going for it. And they have Mr. Jacob deGrom, the GOAT himself, going for the sweep against Oviedo. Right in the first inning, Nimmo gets a single, gets to second on an error. McNeil gets him in with an RBI single. That is fantastic. That puts him up 1-0. Alonso gets plunked and sparks fly. He is not happy. He says, that's the second time you've hit me. I don't remember, but whatever. The bench is clear. The bullpen's empty. Nothing happens because nothing happens. But they stood up for themselves and they said, don't do this again. That won't happen again from them. Who knows? They can't throw strikes. They walk a lot of guys. They hit a lot of guys. But again, Oviedo has good stuff, and he shows it there because he leaves it at 1. Brings it up to the bottom of the second. Once again, the Mets load the bases, this time with no outs. Jeff McNeil gets another RBI, this time from an RBI walk because they don't throw strikes. Up steps Alonso, and as a big kind of, what's he going to do? He already had the benches clear after I got hit by a pitch. He jumps on the first pitch, gets an RBI single ground out, force out play. A good one. That makes it 2-0. He ends up stealing second. So it's 3-0, but that was it. In the 4th, Alonso gets another chance, this time with 2 on and 2 out, but he does not come through there. It's still 3-0 Mets. Top of the 6th, deGrom gets through 5. He's got 1 hit and 13 punch outs. Absolutely cruising. Nobody's touching him. But the top of the 6th works like this. Single. O'Neal Cruz missile. 3-run home run. This guy in his short career has looked so good at the plate. He might be the deGrom killer. He's 3 for 6 with that home run. He's got a double and a single off of deGrom. But that is something that deGrom will remember for next time. That makes it 3-3. All of a sudden, we have a brand new ball game with 4 innings to play. In comes Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo shuts them down. In steps Joely Rodriguez, who shuts them down. He had an amazing series. This game, though, he went 2 innings, another no-hitter, had 5 punch-outs. That set the tone to allow the guys to do what they do at the plate. Tomas Nido with a big single. In steps the man himself, the base-running legend, Terence Gore, who promptly steals second, gets to third on the throwing error, and Nimmo knocks him in to make it 4-3. That's the lead that they need, the lead that they get, and the lead that they hold on to because they add a little bit. They load the bases. Vogie gets his old team with another 2-run single to make it 6-3. Eduardo Escobar hits a ground out, and then Trevor May shuts the door after Lugo and Joely do it, and the Mets sweep. A 4-game sweep in a big moment in a big place. They play the baseball that they needed. DeGrom doesn't get the win, but he looked fantastic. Ran out a little bit of gas, but that was a big Game 4 sweep of the Pirates.
Love that. Yeah, Game 4 was a lot more interesting than Game 3 for obvious reasons. DeGrom, through those 5 innings, looked untouchable. Very interesting. I'm sure you probably noticed this because you got a good pitcher eye. A little bit of a low velocity day from DeGrom. He said that he dialed it back. He said that the Pirates were taking a lot of the fastballs that were at lower speed, so he was mixing it up with that, throwing his changeup a ton in this game. And it got just about everybody fooled except for O'Neal Cruz, who 3 for 6 with a double and a home run. That might be the best numbers I've seen for anybody against DeGrom besides like Freddie Freeman, maybe. That's about it. Terence Gore. What an addition to this team. Every team that's going to compete for a World Series needs a Terence Gore on their roster. He has one weapon, and he's probably the best for that weapon out of anybody in the bigs. He becomes a little bit of the hero for this game. He steals second. He does the Marte. Steals second, induce a bad throw, take third. I love it. I've seen that so much this year. And good for Brandon Nimmo to get a big hit there. We saw him kind of falter in a lot of big spots in the Cubs series, so I think that was very nice for him. Get the monkey off his back, and Vogelbach tags his old team for 2 more runs, big runs, and Trevor May, he's looked good, man. Last 6 appearances, I believe, 6 shutout innings for Trevor May. So that COVID stint did not hinder him at all. He still looks sharp. And the Metsies get 4 big wins as their rivals sweep the Phillies, so it's still a 1-game lead, but you kept pace. You overcame that Cubs sweep. And they look good once again.
Yeah, man, that was a good. This is what you wanted, especially out of the Cubs series. You want to dominate a lesser team. You want to show them, put pressure on them to make plays. And the Pirates showed that they can't make those plays just yet. They've got some exciting parts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw on the replay on that play that Escobar scored from first in Game 2.
Is it when he ran through the stop sign?
Brian Hayes was eating sunflower seeds. That was really funny. Yeah. I thought Todd Zeal. I enjoyed that replay.
Is that an issue to you? I mean,
no, it's not an issue.
No, I just thought it was funny. That's all.
It is funny. It's funny. It's not an issue. You know,
like,
he's not.
He's not. That play?
Granted, I wouldn't be doing it because I'm thinking about where I could be just in case something bad happens. You have all the time in the world to put seeds in your mouth when there's action not happening.
Right.
But it wasn't. A learning lesson. Just like the kids, cell phone flying out of his pocket. That was
pretty funny. That's just that's a whoops moment. And if you're Key Brian Hayes, you just signed that extension. You're sitting pretty right now, but still playing good ball. But the Mets get a 4-game.
Big sweep though. Big sweep. Great bullpen pitching. Great starting pitching. Timely hitting. Very patient eye. Good stuff all around. Vogelbach crushing the ball. Eduardo Escobar in the 8th spot. Unbelievable revelation. This is weird. I don't think he should be down that low, but
I'll take it.
I'm telling you, in that 8 to flip it over, Nido is smashing.
Oh, yeah. Nido's having like a crazy September right now. I got to pull up the numbers really quick.
McCann's doing well too. And so that 8-9 spot is great. Canna had the bases loaded when he got punched out looking. That ball was so far outside.
Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, Canna's allowed because he bailed us out.
That's not his fault though.
It's not his fault. No.
Even if it's like close but a ball and you get punched out looking, I'm like, man, that's close enough for you to foul that off. That one was an easy take, especially for a guy that knows the strike zone that well.
Yeah.
Phil Cuzzy was like, let's open this up.
We got a loaded apple of our eye today, by the way. It's a fun one. Can I tell you?
Speaking of, you guys check out our merch. Well, we'll probably blast something out. We have these like cool dad hats with the little apple here. I literally ordered all of them. So we have to pay for shipping, and I ordered all the stuff. We got the new Edwin Diaz Game Over shirts.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to order some of those because I've got 3 coming. But we got the hat, we got the new Apple of Our Eye shirts and sweatshirts, and then the JM apples. I'm so excited to get mine. I think they're coming. What's today? I think they're here tomorrow. So
Fun.
hopefully.
Yeah, there's a lot of new fun JM Mets merch on their website right now. As you mentioned, the Apple hat, new Edwin Diaz merch. We got the embroidered trumpet shirt now, a little bit of a smaller logo.
Oh, yeah, that's coming too.
And a special announcement, I'm going to post this when the episode goes live. I, myself, am doing a giveaway for the 100th episode of the year. Or of the 2 years, I guess. It's very easy to enter. All you got to do is leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts, leave a like and comment on our YouTube channel, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then just let me know when you've done all that. I'm going to pick a winner at the end of tomorrow, so enough people have time to enter. And then you can pick out something from the Jomboy Media merch store, from our Shea Station section, or whatever you want if you're not a Mets fan. And I'll send that right over to you. So have fun with that.
Cool,
but that
good,
is not
good
the
job.
ad read, Jerry. The ad read is for Win Reality. They're bringing us the apple of our eye today. And it makes perfect sense because the Mets hitters are all over the apple of our eye. And you got to believe that they were using Win Reality. Let's try and read this ad through the confetti right now because I am a professional. The pitcher library in Win Reality consists of 600 plus pitchers from 8U to pro level. From the release to the spin to the speed, hitters get a chance to study every pitch and hit it in the real-time game. It gives players of all levels a variety of workouts that are focused on pitch recognition, timing, and decision-making. You saw Brendan Nimmo draw a bunch of walks in the series. Daniel Vogelbach make some barrels again. That's because they were using Win Reality, probably. We don't know that for a fact, but I think they were. Batters love it. Coaches rave about it. Parents love what it has done for their players' enjoyment of the game of baseball. It's not a game, though. It's a revolutionary tool that improves hitting in the game of baseball in season, off season, and in any weather. Hitters can see increased confidence and improvement at the plate. Head to winreality.com/Shea to sign up today. Once again, that's winreality.com/Shea. Thank you to them for picking up the apple of our eye today. Jerry, it's jam-packed, man. I have no idea where I'm going.
I don't either.
You're studying.
Do you want me to go first, though?
I mean, I think I know. I feel like there's 2. There's 2 guys. You think there's more?
I do think there's more.
Well, I'll read out some numbers while you study. How about that?
No, I'm gonna go.
You're going?
I'm going.
What a turn of events, Jerry. Please.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I know. I'm gonna go. There's 2 guys for me. So there's 3 guys. Really.
Oh my goodness.
Well, God, there's so many, but I've got one, and his name is Daniel Vogelbach.
Yeah. Those numbers are crazy. Those are crazy numbers for a 4-game series.
Daniel Vogelbach. Not only do we need him to be that guy, we want him to be that guy. The Mets fans love him. We've cheered hard for him to step up in that place, and he did it. It was nice to see him. Did it in a variety of ways. 5 for 8. The big home run that we talked about, the big double. He scored 2 runs, even though he gets pinch run for every game. He had 6 RBI on the series. He had 6 walks on the series. Just an absolute Daniel Vogelbach type of series. And that's what we wanted. We don't need him to be anything other than himself. That was great to see. Vogelsnack himself is our guy. He is the apple of my eye.
I mean, that is just a clinical Dan Vogelbach series right there. And the hitting with runners in scoring position was big for me. His numbers still, cumulatively as a Met, are really good with runners in scoring position. And he just needed kind of a bounce-back series. I noticed a discernible difference when I went to the 7-6 walk-off win against the Rockies. Vogelbach got a pinch hit appearance in that game. The crowd roared for Dan Vogelbach, probably the loudest ovation of the night. When I went to the Pirates game on Friday, when he was in the lineup, pretty quiet. A lot of people, I think, soured on him a little bit with this bad 2 or 3 week stretch. And then when he hit that home run, the stadium went crazy again. I don't think Mets fans love anybody more on this roster than Dan Vogelbach. And he's just, he's an extremely charismatic figure. And I'm really glad that it seems like he's turning a corner because we need that DH production, man. We still haven't really seen it from Darren Ruff. We've seen spades from Tyler Naquin, but Vogelbach kind of needs to be that guy, and that can be the big trade for the Mets.
We need Escobar from both sides of the plate,
Right.
which he did. It might be, I didn't want to steal your thunder there if you chose him, and we need Vogelbach because we have options from the other side. Vogelbach can do it from the left side. Escobar can do it from both. He's going to fill in for Darren Ruff, who struggled. So we have options, but that was nice to see him.
So I'm going to spread some love before I give out my
Please do.
pick. Tomasino once again had a great series, 3 for 7, a run, and RBI, did his job. He is having an incredible stretch in September. In his last 6 games, 11 for 22, 2 home runs, 3 doubles, 5 RBI. Bravo to Tomasino. You don't get my apple today, but he has really turned a corner. Really looks like he's coming into his own. Lindor does his thing, 5 for 19, a home run, a stolen base, 2 RBI. Thank you very much. Alonso didn't homer in this series, but put together some good at-bats. Got hit twice, which sucks. But 4 walks, 4 RBI, a double, and 3 runs scored. He's now up to 9th highest all-time for a Mets single-season player with 115 RBI on the season. That's crazy. You talked about Eduardo Escobar, 3 for 14, a double, a homer, 4 RBIs, 2 walks. Great series for him. Cookie Carrasco strikes out 11 in 6 innings. Joely Rodriguez, 4 perfect innings and 7 strikeouts.
4 perfect with 7 punchies. Thank you. I was going to make sure that you mentioned him. He's outside of that trust, the circle of trust. He's on a tier below. He's trying to fight his way back. He's doing an admirable job.
Yep.
Again, these are your lesser lineup kind of guys, but you got to do it, man. You got to do it.
He keeps playing with my heart. I want to believe in you, Joely. I really do. But I believe in you right now. Great series. It comes down to 2 fellas for me. The one who's not going to get it is Jeff McNeil, who had a great series, 4 for 14, 3 runs, a double, 2 RBI. The big RBI in the first inning of the last game, which I think set the tone and ended up becoming pretty big. 3 walks as well. So many good performances.
I wanted to my other, if I didn't go Vogelbach, I was afraid that you weren't going to pick Vogelbach, so I wanted to make sure one of us did.
I would have picked Vogie if you didn't.
McNeil would have been my other choice because of the defense that he added.
Yeah,
he made
that's
great
true.
play. And hey, you're not wrong. There is no wrong answer in giving out your apple. I just want you to know that. But I thought Jeff McNeil was my number 2. And the defense, man, that was such a huge play. It kept the momentum going for the Mets. The guy played right field. He's been doing it in left. He's been doing it at second base, right field. He made a Gold Glove caliber play. Again, hats off to him, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad that you shot out the defense.
Hats off to you, Jeff McNeil.
I mean, I got confetti in an air thing, so.
I mean, look at this. Look at what I got.
It looks great. You got a full head. What are you talking about?
This is why we're an audio podcast. Don't watch the YouTube for that.
My apple, as confetti goes into my mouth, is gonna be Brandon Nimmo for today.
Well deserved.
Nimmo had a tough Cup series, man. I felt for him a little bit. I mean, the numbers were pretty rough as I try and sift through this confetti. He put up a big 0-for in that series. He went 0 for 9, drew a couple walks, struck out a ton, missed some big opportunities with runners in scoring position, and then he bounced back in the series. Buck did not move him away from that leadoff spot. He never has. He never will. 5 for 13, 5 runs scored for Nimmo in these 4 games. He was all over the place. 3 RBI, 4 walks, which is huge for me as well. Steals his second base of the season in the same month, and he gets a hit by pitch. He was always on base, always table setting. Plays solid defense as always. It was tough between him and McNeil, but I think I was really looking for a Brandon Nimmo bounce back in this series because we need him as much as we need anybody in this lineup. We talked about the DHs. We talked about Eddie at the bottom, Luis Guillorme coming back. But Brandon Nimmo at the top of the lineup, setting the stage and getting these guys their RBI opportunities and coming home on these home runs is just as big as anything else. So he is going to get my apple. It was a close one, but I think Nimmo and Vogelbach are 2 great choices for us.
I agree. Well deserved. Again, seeing him gather those walks is huge for us, for him as a table setter in that first, spot leadoff. I mean, this team the Pirates can't throw enough strikes, dude.
No,
4 walks for him. Lindor had a couple of walks. McNeil had 3. Alonso had 4. Vogelbach had 6. Escobar had 2.
6 walks is so many.
Hit by pitches and walks, wow.
Yeah.
It accumulates. But well-deserved from Nimmo. Vogelbach is back. Vogel snack himself. Shout out to Taiwan, who he went 7 1/3.
Yeah, he had a great start. He didn't even make our list. It's crazy.
DeGrom didn't make the list. He gave up the 3-run cruise missile, but he punched out 13 through 5, ran out of gas. Hopefully he's starting to, get up in that. The first inning, he was taxing for him. He threw over
Yeah.
20 pitches and then ran out at the back end. But adrenaline comes in a postseason type atmosphere. I think he'll be able to pull through. But
I
great
definitely
series,
agree.
big sweep.
Big sweep. I think
It was so nice of the Mets to do it too for our 100th episode.
yeah, right. They
appreciate
saved
it,
it.
guys.
They saved it just for
Thank you.
us. Because they took the first 3 against the Rockies at home. They couldn't etch out a win. They lost 1-0, I think, in the final game. And I know it wouldn't have been completely necessary to take 4, but it's nice to. It's nice to take 4 from a team that you're better than. You can come and beat every single day, especially when they're walking the entire lineup. So that was big, and they needed it. They ended up needing it because the Braves did not lose a game to the Phillies at home. The Braves get a little bit of a break, but then they go to Philadelphia for a 3-gamer next week. That's likely their last tough series before they come and play us. Meanwhile, we have a very interesting situation on our hands with our upcoming series. The Milwaukee Brewers are next on our slate. We're getting Max Scherzer on the mound tonight against Corbin Burns. That'll be a fun matchup. Here's something that I found very interesting, which I guess I kind of just blocked out. The Mets have lost 14 games in a row at Miller Park. Or I guess it's not, I think it's American Family Field now, right? Jack's nodding, so I think I'm correct.
It's Miller Park for me.
They have not won a game in Milwaukee since 2016. Do you want to guess who won that game on June 10th, 2016, Jerry?
Logan Verrett.
Jerry Blevins. The last
I won that game.
The last time the Mets won a game at Miller Park or American Family Field, Jerry Blevins pitched the 10th inning and secured a 2-1 win in extras. That's
Let's
how
stay
long it's
on
been.
brand. Let's
That's
stay
how
on
long-
brand. I love
Look
it.
up.
Happy 100th episode.
Hey, there you go. But
Sweet.
I found that and I was like, 1, that's really funny, and I'm definitely going to mention that. But 2, how has it been almost 6 years? You haven't won in Milwaukee. They've put together some good teams, but man,
It's a weird ballpark. So it shouldn't be a big deal though.
I hope not.
No, I think, especially with Scherzer coming back against Corbin Burns, who's obviously, lights out, nasty.
Yeah.
He's going to do the opposite of what the Pirates did, I think, and throw a ton of strikes because the dude brings it. So I think the guys are dialed in and they'll be able to put the bat on the ball. Hopefully in Milwaukee, a short flight, happy flight. Those guys should be well rested. They are staying in one of the haunted places, I believe.
Are they?
In the country.
Why is it haunted? What's going on?
There's a few haunted hotel. Apparently, I don't believe in it. But they do. I try.
Jerry, they haven't won there since 2016. It might be haunted.
It's the ghost of series past.
Yeah, and I mean the Brewers are heating up a little bit. They took 2 or 3 from the Yankees. They've won 8 of 10 after kind of a long skid where they fell out of first and the Cardinals overtook them. It seems like they're getting their footing back, but because the Mets' magic number is 2 and the Brewers are that last team trying to vie for a playoff spot, the next time the Mets beat the Brewers, they will clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2016. Again, the eyes are on the prize. They're looking at the division. But pretty cool for Mets fans that on our 100th episode, tonight, they might clinch a playoff spot. Very cool.
I think it would be poetic.
I think it would be very nice.
That'd be bad. Ready to look ahead?
I am ready to look ahead. Tell me who's pitching against who.
All right. Looking ahead versus the Milwaukee Brewers in their awesome uniforms. Mets are looking to keep the momentum alive. They get Max Scherzer back. That's wonderful. He hasn't pitched in 16 days due to left side arm fatigue, something along those lines. But he goes in game 1. He's 9-4 with a 2.2 ERA. He's going up against a Cy Young candidate himself, Mr. Corbin Burns, the reigning NL Cy Young. He's 10-7 with a 2.97 ERA. Offensively with the Brewers, Victor Caratini is 7 for 13 with a home run against Scherzer. Burns has a 5.15 ERA in his last 6 starts, spanning 36 innings. He's been down on his career versus the Mets, though. On the other end, he's got 21 innings pitched, 26 punch-outs to 1 walk. He has a 1.71 ERA against the Mets, but this is a different Mets. That is game 1, the return of Mad Max. Game number 2, Cookie Carrasco. He's 15-6 with a 3.7 ERA. He's going after that dominant start against the Pirates. He's actually had 2 dominant starts. He's 12 innings pitched with 2 earned runs and 17 punch-outs to 2 walks his last 2 starts. He's going up against the entire bullpen because they've had injuries in their rotation. Lauer, Ashby, Peralta, all hurt. They have a hole in that rotation. They fill it with the bullpen. In his career versus Cookie Carrasco, Willy Adames, Their spark plug is 5 for 7 with a home run. That is game 2, Cookie versus the bullpen. Game number 3, Taiwan Walker coming off his stellar outing. He went 7 1/3 last outing. He's 12-4 with a 3.42 on the year. Adrian Hauser, 6-9 with a 4.85. Hauser has a 5.4 ERA and 12 walks in 18 1/3 innings since returning from injury. Versus the Mets, his last outing in June, he went 4 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits. He took the L against the Mets. Taiwan, his last 2 starts have been stellar as well. He's 14 1/3 innings and 3 earned runs. That is game 3. That is all 3 games in Milwaukee, looking to continue the victorious ways in the New York Mets and our 100th episode.
Woo-hoo! Nice preview as always. And Jerry, we got to thank Candy for bringing us that preview today. Candy Digital, the official NFT partner of Major League Baseball. They take the obsession and thrill of card collecting digital with a totally cool digital collector's items. There's 5 levels of rarity: core, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. I'm sure if you're going for that Corbin Burns Cy Young card, it's probably going to be tough to get. Pretty lucrative there. The pack drops on September 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, so keep your eye out for that. All 80 players on the 2022 All-Star roster will be included in the series as well. You can purchase with a credit card on Candy's Marketplace at mlb.candy.com. The gold edition is 10 icons, and the blue edition is 3 icons, so that's pretty cool for you. Set up an account at candy.com/MLB to start your collection today. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's preview. And a lot to look forward to in this Milwaukee series. I think the Mets, I think they know about that stat. That they haven't won in Milwaukee in a while. I think they got a chip on their shoulder. They're getting one of their guys back, Max Scherzer. I'm looking forward to it.
I think they're ready to knock me off my throne of Milwaukee. Somebody else needs to step up, I guess. You know, I'm a team player. So. But we've got some interesting notables. Do you want to run through the notables?
Yeah, I breezed past them a little bit before, but the Mets are now up to 93 wins. 93 wins. That's great. That's the most they've had in such a long time, since 2006. It's their 8th most in franchise history, so we're having a historic season here. They're still undefeated when leading after 8 innings. Diaz had a great 5-out save. Joely mopped up a game. Ottavino locked down a game. They're 80-0 when they enter the 9th with a lead, and they have 36 scoreless starts this season. That's the most ever in their franchise's history. This is maybe the best a Mets rotation has ever looked as a cohesive unit. We talked about the teams that the Mets are playing and facing off against. We got some injury news. Starling Marte.
That's the one I wanted you to touch upon.
Yeah, Starling Marte says there's a good possibility he will return before the end of the season. He did try throwing and hitting a couple days ago, but it hurt, so he stopped. The Mets are being careful. They got reinforcements with Guillorme, so they have platoon options, which is nice. This lineup is still deep, but it's definitely missing Starling Marte against some of those more competitive teams. And then the Mets might get some returns tonight. We've talked for a long time about Tyler McGill and Drew Smith. It looks like this is the series they will come back. Tyler has been with the team since this weekend. Maybe he'll get activated tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure what the Mets roster move is going to be. And then Drew Smith pitched Saturday and Sunday. He looks good. He feels healthy. So he's going to return as early as Game 2 tomorrow, maybe for Game 3. So even more bullpen help for a bullpen that has looked very, very good these past couple weeks.
Yep, that's good, because Drew Smith and Tyler McGill could be huge weapons for us down the stretch. We're going to need them. Those are swing and miss type of guys, and those are always welcomed out of the bullpen. Yeah, man, it's not great that Marte's not in, but he has take your time, get healthy, rest those legs, you old man. We're going to need your speed. In the meantime, we'll pick up the slack for you. McNeil will just play stellar defense and right wild. Yeah.
And that's another thing. I think in our PPP, we talked about how many games we thought Marte was going to play. He's going to end the year, if he doesn't play again this year, he'll end the year with 118, so about 120, which is what he did last year. I think as a Mets fan, you're pretty happy with that, because Marte.
I think I took the under on whatever it was because I didn't want him to play that much. But I think next year they'll knock it down a little bit because he's played a lot, and they'll force him because he wants to play. But he's at his best when he's well rested.
Right.
But hopefully he gets healthy. Get some ABs before the end of the season going into the playoffs, because we're going to need them.
Yes, we are. But the Mets look good. They're riding high. They're 4 wins fatter since the last time we chatted with you guys. Guys, thank you so much for supporting us in our long endeavor that's been over a year now. 100 episodes of Shea Station. I cannot believe it. And here's to many more hundreds, huh?
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that. I got a water bottle here. I can do that.
Cheers. I have our mug.
You always have our mug. I love that.
I know. I make sure I wash it and it's ready to go for every episode. But thank you guys. Let's go Mets.
We will see you.
LFGM.
LFGM. We'll see you Thursday.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out producer Jack for producing all our shows. We love him.
I'll see you live and in person on Friday, possibly, depending on when I fly in. So
let's make that happen. I'm down.
All right. Later, buddy.
Enter our giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Enter the giveaway.
Do it. Twitter, Instagram. It's there somewhere.